It's time for Where You Live with Gene and Tony, the show that's all about owning, buying, selling, renting, and association management. If it involves a home, we'll talk about it. Here's your chance to get your homeowner questions answered. From the Concierge Landscape Studios, here's Gene and Tony.
Needed the shelter of someone's arms, and there you were. Needed someone to understand my ups and
Welcome
downs.
to Hour 2 of Where You Live with Gene and Tony. It's great to have you with us. We've been covering some great stories today. Coming up here in the second hour, we're going to be talking about what's taking place in Colorado. If you remember, about a year ago, we reported on this. Right after the legislature enacted it, they said that every homeowner association in the state must register. If you don't, we're not going to let you refinance, go through and approve those disclosure documents for resales. And they said that there could be some possible fines. They were making it difficult and said everybody that's living in an association must register, meaning what? Meaning more money.
That there was a fee per unit.
Yeah.
We should also mention that this legislation was very strongly supported by Gary Solomon, right? Dr.
Yep.
Gary Solomon and his homeowner advocates group. I can't remember the name of it. But these groups who think homeowners are being abused in associations, the people that support the homeowners wanted this.
And it was all because of abuse. We're also going to cover an interesting thought. There was another story that says, are homeowner associations, are they a government or are they not? A lot of times we hear about an HOA being governed, and it's just like a government. Well, is it, or are there differences? We're going to talk about that as well.
And we want to hear from our listeners. We want to know what you think of these stories. 952-224-2668. Call us and leave us a message.
Yes, or you can give us an email too. Some people have done that. Gene, Gene, at ncmgi.com. We have a lot of folks who have responded to us by email as well. And so let's get started here. This is from the state of Colorado. And as we mentioned before, what took place January of 2011 is that people said that homeowner associations need to be reined in. So the state opened up what they called the HOA Information Office and Resource Center in Denver, Colorado. Now, the center was created and is under the auspices of the state-run Division of Real Estate, which is under an umbrella of DORA, and that stands for the Department of Regulatory Agencies in Denver. Okay? So anytime you start a new agency, a new office, someone's got to oversee that. Okay?
And I think this HOA Information Office became just a place where people could file complaints. They don't have any enforcement authority or any whatever. They can't fine associations or make any judicial decisions.
And when we talked about this a year ago, that's one of the distinctions we brought up was that very fact that this is not like an ombudsman office. Other states like Nevada, Florida have an ombudsman office where someone can go to bring a complaint, and then that complaint is investigated further.
So this isn't an investigatory, easy for you to say, office.
I'm glad
it's
you
just
did.
a place to file your complaints, which I actually, in retrospect, was a very smart move on the part of Colorado.
But I think I think there was a reason why. But I think as we go through, it's probably backfiring for them. See, I think there were a number of people in Colorado, Tony, this is my opinion now, that really wanted to have an ombudsman office just like many other states, but they knew that the political will of those in the legislature would not allow that.
I see.
And the sentiments of people out in the state would say, why are we creating something when I don't think there's an issue or a
need
problem?
For it. And that was the point I was trying to make.
Yeah.
The results, which we're going to talk about, indicate that it's not necessary to have an enforcement agency.
Yeah, but so they created this with the idea and maybe the hopes of trying to create something that's not there. That's not uncommon. That was the very thing that we picked up when we spoke with someone like Dr. Gary Solomon when he talked about HOA syndrome. Is there really a syndrome that
Right.
people go under? But he wanted to do what? Further research. Why? So the old adage, numbers don't lie. Or figures don't lie, but liars always figure. And so what I think happens, unfortunately, is people after a while take numbers and then they begin to use them in a different way to try and
manipulative
to
way,
try
yeah.
and force
Yeah.
what it is that they want to get
So
accomplished.
they're creating a problem that doesn't really exist.
Yes.
And in this case, Colorado said, no, you know what? We're not going to spend our taxpayers' money to address a problem we're not even sure exists.
But they are doing it because what they ended up doing is they ended up charging every
they charge the associations.
every homeowner that lives in an association had an additional $8 fee attached on their
true.
property
That's
tax.
true.
So every homeowner did have to pay more for this one.
But I still like it though because it's homeowner members, association members that pay the fee for their own office to take homeowner complaints, and I'm trying to make the point that they did not make it an investigatory office, which would have probably cost more.
Yeah.
What it is a place to gather the data,
Yeah.
and the data they're gathering seems to indicate that it's not a problem.
You're being more gracious than I am
I
towards
see.
them because you're right. It is better than starting a whole full blown
It's better than
ombudsman office.
Than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick.
Sure, but I still think it's. Is this really something that the homeowners asked for? I would say not.
You think the whole premise was just blown way out of proportion.
I do.
Yeah.
This was a way to for a new office to develop, and there were millions of dollars raised in the first year alone.
That's true.
You can make that much money in 5 seconds.
Yeah, for a two-person
Okay, Napoleon.
office.
Yeah.
A two-person office. Now they did pull together information.
Let's hear some of these statistics.
You're right.
though.
This is what is real interesting here. Number one, they said that as of December 1st, 2011, that approximately 8,091 homeowner associations have thus far registered with the HOA Information Office. And they said that represents some 837,000 homeowners. Or homes. Yeah.
Yes.
And some
Okay.
change there, too.
All right.
And Dora still believes, that's the organization that oversees this, that many HOAs in Colorado still have not registered.
Okay.
And they said, we imagine that over 2 million people in Colorado live in HOAs. Well, if
Okay.
that's true, then they have a little bit less than 50% compliance.
That are complying. Yeah.
And this is in less than a year because
Okay.
they had till March 1st, 2011. It was initiated in January 2011. So they had 2 months. Here they are almost a year later, and they've got maybe half.
All right.
What I think is most telling is let's take a look at some of that information that they have really gathered.
Okay.
It says that during the first year, the HOA Information Office has been in existence. The staff has spoken to over 2,000 people.
Okay.
And it says that has led to questions pertaining to their HOA registration, or have lodged complaints against their HOAs.
So they had 2,000 people call in, and some of them weren't calling in complaints. They were just asking questions.
Yes, and,
Okay.
and some of the questions were just this HOA registration.
How do we register?
So isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So when they say we have over 2,000 calls, oh, isn't that important? Well, no. How many of it was just how do we register?
Where do I get the form?
How do I
Yeah.
fill this out?
Okay.
That
All right.
I mean, they wouldn't have asked that question had that not been created.
Yep.
How many complaints has there been, Tony? according
Well,
to-
item 3, as of December 9th, the Division of Real Estate has received 477 complaints, actual complaints about homeowners associations. Now, you did the math.
Only 477 complaints.
And 837,000 units are registered.
Yeah.
So of those registered units, there have been 477 complaints. What's the percentage, Gene?
I will talk about that and what its consequences are after these messages. We're going to take a break right now, folks. More on what's happening in Arizona. You're listening to Where You Live with Gene and Tony on AM 1280, The Patriot. Back after this.